fights with passion, and he inspires.
Are you ready for a war?
All right, welcome back to From 8 Arbitration, the Monday edition. The Monday edition. I hope you had a great week. Now, my beautiful wife is on a business trip, left this morning, going to be in California all week. So last night, instead of doing an episode, I just spent time with her. We watched some shows and had a good time. So no episode last night. Going to do one tonight. I'm going to do one tomorrow as well. Because tonight, I'm going to go the fuck off on something. All right? So if y'all don't want to listen to that, don't listen to the one tonight. Listen to the one Tuesday, because I'm going to go over those grievances that I was talking about. I'm going to do some shout-outs on this one, and then I'll probably do some tomorrow. But I've been chewing on some shit for a while, and so I'm just going to go the fuck off tonight. And like I said, we'll get back into some educating tomorrow, because some shit's come up. And, I've just been chewing on this shit for a while. It's good to rant every once in a while. You know, I don't do that much anymore. I used to do it all the time, and don't do it as much as I used to. So tonight we're going to do that. We're going to get back into it, all right? So, had a good day at work today. Nothing really in particular made me want to go off, but, you know, my Vols lost Saturday, and that always pisses me off. And then, of course, my beautiful wife is gone. That pisses me off too. But had a great week. Had a great week delivering mail. And Halloween, didn't get to go on my route. Normally I'll go on my route on Halloween, take my grandson. Now my route is special on Halloween. I don't know how y'all's is, but mine is notorious for doing up Halloween. They are incredible. And I've been on this route for 25 years. And I remember when my kids were little, my neighborhood, very wealthy neighborhood, they would always say, the customers would tell me, say, Corey, you need to bring your kids out for Halloween. And, I'm like, it's Halloween. I'm not going to bring my kids out here. It's 25 minutes from my house. And it's like, trust us, you need to bring the kids out just one year for Halloween. So I did. I brought my kids out for Halloween in my neighborhood. It's unlike anything I've ever seen. It's like something out of a movie scene. No kidding. It was wall-to-wall decorations. People walking down the middle of the streets, dark, huge costumes on. They're about 7-8 feet tall walking down the street. All the houses were lit up. Fog machines. They bust kids in because this neighborhood does it up so well. They were about, no kidding, 20 or 30 deep at each house. That's not a lie. And so I started bringing them from then on. Now I bring my grandson, but his dad has him every other year. He had him this year, and so he'll have him next year. All right, so we'll be back out there next year. But it was funny. I walked up to this guy today. He was on the front porch, and I believe this was their first year. And so every time somebody moves in, I'll tell them about Halloween. Be ready for it, because the kids are going to come. And so I walked up to him today and I said, hey man, how'd it go? He's like, Corey, he said, we went through 12 huge bags of candy. He said, and they all drink. Everybody walking up and down, parents dress up, go up and down through there. He's like, 12 huge bags of candy. He said, and I went through 22 bottles of wine, because they'll just pour the adults drinks as they're going up and down the street. 22 bottles of wine and 12 huge bags of candy. And I said, so it lived up to the billing. He said, man, it was something else. But the street over from me, I deliver one block on this street called Richland. And the block that I don't deliver is probably the liveliest block. And they'll have one house has about 80 hand-carved pumpkins sitting up there. And it's awesome looking. And all the houses are decorated. But yeah, Halloween is something special. So I hope y'all had a great Halloween. Didn't celebrate this year because I didn't have my grandson, but next year we'll be back into it. And so I'm going to give a shout out, and then I'm going to go off just a little bit because of just some shit. Just some shit that comes up, and every once in a while I've just got to vent. I've just got to. So I'm going to vent today. So if you don't want to listen to me vent, I get it. I understand. It's not for everybody. And then tomorrow I'll come back and I'll do some educating. How's that sound? Hello, Corey. I hope you can give a shout out to Branch 1902 for our upcoming election to pick a president and a vice president. This election will determine the direction of our branch. God bless you, and God bless the letter carriers. So there you have it, my friend. There's your shout out. I've got some more. Here's one for a real carrier. Shout out to Jessica Walters, new local union steward from NRLCA, that's rural carriers, of Laurel, Mississippi. That's a faithful listener of the podcast, 8 Arbitration. She's spreading the word down south about the CLC, even though she's not a city carrier, but loves all letter carriers no matter which craft, pun intended because it's Halloween. Jessica seeks courage and knowledge from listening to Corey and thinks James and Corey are badasses. I agree, and hopes Corey sends a team of wolves to the Laurel post office to shake up and get the bullshit out so we can all happily do our jobs without hostility and harassment. I find myself walking the back dock randomly saying aloud, "Them dogs are coming for y'all," only to leave the listeners in confusion because they have no idea what's coming for them. So there's your one for Jessica Walters and rural carrier. I appreciate you listening, Jessica. And I get a lot of rural carriers listening. Get a lot of APWU. Matter of fact, I had a discussion with an APWU advocate today. And he was talking about arbitration sites. They have an arbitration coming up and had a kind of a threshold issue, and he was asking if I had anything that could help him with that. So we talked a little bit. And so that's pretty cool. Talking with APW, a lot of rural carriers listening, and they want change as well. And so change is coming to the city letter carrier craft. It's inevitable. It's happening. And so the CLC will take over next year. But I'll do some more. I'll do some more of those tomorrow. Okay, I'll do some more of those tomorrow. But what I want to talk about today is something that it just pisses me off. I could do one every week on this because it's just something that I've been chewing on this shit all damn day. And really for the last few days. So I was like, hell, I'll be a salty motherfucker tonight and get it all out of my system. And that way tomorrow we get back into educating. Like I said, Saturday night went to see my Vols play. They got their ass kicked. That always pisses me off and puts me in a bad mood. Then my woman, she leaves and she goes to California on a business trip, leaves me all alone. Now I'm sad and mad. And it's just a good time to be fucking salty. Don't you agree? So I'm going to do that. So I've talked about this a million times, why I started this podcast, to educate those AOs, those smaller branches that won't get any education. And that's true. I've had more people reach out to me from those smaller branches, smaller offices, those AOs, talking about this is the only education that they get. I have that all the time. And so that's what this is about. If I lose all of my listeners but one, and that one is in a small station and they need this education, I'm going to keep doing this. I've already said that. I've always said it. I'm going to do it even if it's just one person listening. It's no different than you call me on the phone. I have people call me all the time. We go over case files. We go over discipline, whatever. And so that's what this is about. Like I said, I've had a lot of great mentors in my time. And so I'm not going to keep it to myself. Anything that I know I've dealt with, whatever, I'm going to give to y'all if that's what you want. If not, don't listen to me. But every once in a while, I'm going to go the fuck off, because when you talk about these AOs, when you talk about these small stations, okay, and you realize that they're getting run over because some of these big branches, they get all the attention because they're votes. And you got some of these business agents, not all of them, some are pieces of shit. They'll always be pieces of shit. They've been pieces of shit. The only reason they got that job is because they got votes. And Renfro wants them in there because they're going to kiss his ass. And that's the only good that they are, is just to kiss a motherfucker's ass. And so during that time, I realized that my union is failing us. Y'all have heard this story a million times. And so I became the voice of the voiceless. And that's what I started using this platform for, and lost a lot of listeners because of that. Because I said, I'm going to be a voice to the voiceless. Those on the workroom floor that say, hey, we have no voice. And so they're like, hey, Corey will be your voice. He raises hell on there. He'll call a motherfucker and has no qualms about it. And so at the onset, like I said, they talked about blackballing me from arbitration, which I love, from education regionally, which I love, from being an outside steward, which was okay, and got called a lot of names and all of that shit. And I don't really give a fuck about any of that, because at the end of the day, I said that I was going to be a voice to the voiceless. I did not say I was going to be a voice to the voiceless unless they threaten to blackball me, and then I'm no longer going to be a voice to the voiceless. I'm no longer going to be that person that will get on a podcast and call out my leadership for being sorry-ass motherfuckers unless they talk about blackballing me. Now, I don't care. Unless they start calling me a lot of mean names. Don't care. The amount of I don't give a fuck on that is biblical, okay? And so, yeah, I decided I would be a voice to the voiceless, right? Cost me a lot of listeners, blackballed, whatever. It's okay. Because of shit like this. They had the COP this last weekend. And you have an individual get up there. He's the director of retirees, probably running for another position. They said that he did a lot of politicking, which they can right now because nobody is committed to running for anything. So you'll see a lot of Renfro on everything right now. Like I said, this motherfucker's everywhere because he's politicking. He's politicking without saying that he's running. Once he announces that he's running, he cannot do that any longer without giving those others that are running for president equal access, equal time. And so you're going to see this fucker everywhere right now, politicking. Whatever they do, they're changing things like COP. They politic the whole weekend, okay? Here's what pisses me off, though. Here's what pisses me off. I'm always going to call bullshit out, okay? I'm going to call a motherfucker out for bullshit. I'm just going to do that. People don't like that. They get so angry at me for that. Oh, they get so mad at me for calling a motherfucker out that says bullshit or does bullshit, whatever. Man, people get mad. And so I'm always going to call a motherfucker out for bullshit. That's just what I'm going to do. And so don't like it, whatever. I don't care. But you get a guy up there as the director of retirees, and he's talking about the complete failure that they are as far as the backlog of grievances. Now, he doesn't say it that way. But he's throwing all these numbers out, and basically saying, hey, it's not our fault. It's not our fault that we have 39,651 cases backed up at the DRT. Did you hear that number? 39,651 cases backlogged at the DRT. Now, when James Henry was over that, I think that they had 6,000. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think they had 6,000 cases, 6 or 8. I believe it was 6. Backlogged at the DRT when James Henry was over that. Then Renfro takes him away from that, takes his responsibilities away and gives it to Ponyboy. And it immediately starts going up. Then he gives it to the director of retirees. And we end up with 39,651 cases backlogged at the DRT. Let me put that into perspective for you. Now, this is hypothetical. This is just numbers talking here, okay? I'm going to put that number into perspective for you. 39,651 cases pending B. That's one grievance per every 5 carriers in this union. Think about that. So if you take 5 carriers, okay? If you take 5 carriers, one of those carriers has a grievance pending B. That's nationwide. That's how big that is. If you have 5 carriers, one of those carriers has a grievance pending B. Because we have 211,000 carriers. That's 39,651. So you've got one grievance for every 5 carriers. That's how shitty that is. You have some that have not heard anything since 23. You got most that haven't heard their grievance, haven't had their grievance heard in over 9, 10, 11 months. Then you've got 8,477 pending arbitration. 8,477 pending arbitration. Now that's one case pending arbitration for every 29 carriers. So if you got an office with 29 carriers, there's a case pending arbitration in there. So that's how large that number is out of 211,000 carriers. 8,477. So you got pending B, one case for every 5 carriers. and what they say is, it's not our fault. That was the message. Hey, we know that looks bad, but it's not our fault. Let me ask you something. Whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Is it management's fault? If it's management's fault, it is indeed your fault. Because we control the grievance process. We move the grievance. We're the only one that can withdraw a grievance. If management says it's not a grievance, we will send it to the next step. That's how it works. And so if you're saying it's not our fault, whose fault is it? If it's management's fault, it is our fault because management doesn't run shit. We do. We have allowed management to sabotage the grievance process. And I've said that over and over again. But when you get up and you say stupid shit, I'm going to call you out on it. That's just what I'm going to do. Now, this same individual, the director of retirees, said the carriers are filing too many grievances. Now, that wasn't in the COP. That was when something that he did earlier. The carriers are filing too many grievances. So maybe it's the carrier's fault that there's so many cases pending B. Maybe it's our fault because we're filing too many grievances, as he says. Now, let me ask you this. What grievances shouldn't we file? If you're going to say that we're filing too many grievances, what grievances should we not file? Article 8s? Hell, that's confusing enough as it is. What about opt-in grievances? A lot of those coming in. Should we no longer file those? Since we're filing too many grievances, since we've got 39,651 backed up at the DRT, that's one per every 5 carrier. So which grievances should we not file? Since the national level has told us that we're filing too many grievances, since the agent has told us, the aggrieved, that we're filing too many grievances. 39,651 pending the DRT, and it's not our fault. Whose fault is it? If it's not ours. Now they're talking about the possibility of filing a national level grievance. Well, mercy. That's an outstanding idea. It took us a while to get there, but I like that idea. Let me read y'all something. Now, this is in the JCAM. This is page 1521, okay? Now, this is going to go a couple of pages, but I'll read you this because you had the director of retirees who has been put over the grievance process, specifically the DRT and what they're doing, talking about there's 39,000 cases, 39,651 to be specific, and it's not our fault. Everybody out there, it's not our fault. So those of you who have not gotten decisions in a couple of years, it's not our fault. It's not us, okay? I don't know who to tell you that it is, because if you say it's management's fault, then it is our fault because they don't run shit. We do as far as the grievance procedure. And now they're talking about, hey, we may file a national level grievance on this. Well, shit, that's a novel fucking idea. I'm going to read this. The NELC national business agents, area managers, labor relations, and district managers are responsible for ensuring that the dispute resolution process is effective in all ways, including the timeliness of decision making. All parties are expected to monitor the functioning of the new process and generally to assume a proactive role regarding the labor management relationship. In the event the national business agent, the district manager, or area manager, labor relations, are unable to resolve any differences, the issue will be referred to the national parties for resolution, an event which is expected to be an infrequent occurrence. To facilitate this oversight responsibility, Step B teams should copy both their respective national business agent and area manager, labor relations on all decisions. Additionally, in any district where there are more cases pending arbitration than can be arbitrated in a timely manner, using the existing arbitration scheduling process, the appropriate area manager, labor relations, and national business agent are responsible for ensuring an ongoing review of the backlog cases in an effort to settle cases, select representative cases, reduce the backlog, and provide direction to the local parties. 39,651. The primary role of the Step B dispute resolution team is to decide the grievance presented to them and to communicate the basis for the decision to the parties at Step A using a format agreed upon at the national level. Additionally, with the joint concurrence of the district manager and national business agent, the teams may be called upon to provide training and other assistance to the local parties. The national parties encourage the use of the Step B dispute resolution teams to provide contract training throughout the district, especially when grievance activity suggests a lack of understanding of contract application or local responsibilities to address disputes in a timely manner, as noted above. However, the primary role of the Step B dispute resolution team is to process and resolve disputes. No other secondary activity should be undertaken if the timely processing of grievances is negatively impacted. The Step B dispute resolution team and backup team will be made up of one management representative and one union representative. Although the Postal Service and the NELC will each determine their own method of selection for Step B representatives, it is anticipated that the national business agents and the district managers will discuss their separate recommendations for appointment to the Step B dispute resolution teams prior to submitting recommendations. Backup Step B representatives will be designated for each Step B dispute resolution team to provide coverage for vacations or other lengthy absences or, when warranted, by the workload. To ensure timely grievance processing, backup teams also may be effectively utilized to provide training or such other assistance as may be agreed upon by the district manager and national business agent. The Step B dispute resolution team is responsible to track and monitor its Step B workload. When the Step B dispute resolution team believes its current workload exceeds its ability to render Step B decisions in a timely manner within 14 days of receipt of the Step B appeal, the Step B dispute resolution team will contact the area manager, labor relations, and the national business agent jointly. The national business agent and the area manager, labor relations, will determine jointly whether there is a need to activate backup Step B representatives to address a backlog. If backup activation is necessary, the area manager, labor relations, and the national business agents will determine the most efficient and effective way to ensure timely Step B processing. They will either, 1, activate the backup Step B dispute resolution team without undue delay, normally within 48 hours, subject to availability. The backup team will remain activated until the backlog is eliminated. For this purpose, availability means certified, employed by the Postal Service, and fit for duty consistent with the provisions of this MOU. 2, send Step B appeals to another primary Step B dispute resolution team under the jurisdiction of the area manager, labor relations, and the national business agent if they determine that the Step B dispute resolution team can handle the workload without causing the team's regular work to become untimely. If the national business agent and the area manager, labor relations, do not agree with another primary Step B dispute resolution team under their jurisdiction can handle the additional work without becoming untimely, the backup team will be activated as provided above. In the event the national business agent and the area manager, labor relations, determine neither the backup team nor another primary Step B dispute resolution team under their jurisdiction is available for this additional work based on the above, the area manager, labor relations, and national business agent will activate another backup Step B dispute resolution team under their jurisdiction until the backlog is cleared. If the national business agent and the area manager, labor relations, are unable to identify a primary or backup Step B dispute resolution team for this work, they will promptly contact and fully inform their respective parties at the headquarters level. So, that's in the JCAM. Both parties have agreed to that. So whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? It's got to be somebody's. It's got to be somebody's because we went from 6,000 under one individual to 39,651 two individuals later. You do know that management at that level said that they refuse to implement the backup teams. A national level grievance should have immediately been filed when that was said. Instead, we still have not initiated a national level grievance as of today. But I've got an individual standing at a COP saying, it's not our fault. Whose fault is it? It cannot be management's, because they do not control the grievance process, or shouldn't. We do. We file the grievance. We move the grievance. I've had a president. Now, I've got screenshots I'll go over, but I told you the screenshot about the whiteboards coming out nationally. The one last week, it said 45 minutes, office to 45 minutes. Another one sent me another office to 60 minutes. So we got 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Another one saying that in their training, now this was, what region was that? I can't remember this region. Hang on, I will tell you. Just wanted to get this out there. I just trained a new carrier for another station. After we left the office the first day, he says to me, what is this about a 22-minute office time? I said, who said this to you? He tells me they were telling them at the academy in this location. I'm not much of a fan of him, but he will never return my calls talking about the business agent there. I couldn't believe this being told to new carriers, that at their training they were saying you have a 22-minute office time. They may have meant 22-minute load time, because you remember on those memos, that's what Renfro agreed to as a parameter, 22 minutes of load time. But this says that they're telling them, what's this about 22 minutes of office time? And then you have them saying that there's an office to 45 minutes, an office to 60 minutes. This other whiteboard said, talks about, let me pull it up here, return time expectation 5 p.m. So you got this one that says, it's the same board, office to 60, return time expectation 5 p.m. It's in red. And so to me, that's kind of borderline intimidation. What is the return time of 5 p.m.? Where'd you get that from? Is that them trying to set a window of operation or dispatch of value, this 5 p.m.? And so a lot of shit going on, right? A lot of shit going on. A lot of fucking with us going on. And we've got clowns up there telling people that it's not our fault. It's not our fault. Here's my problem with that, besides it being dumb as fuck. You've got Renfro everywhere right now. Okay? He's on everything right now, showing his face. All these things where he's fighting like hell. Okay? And he's getting blistered. I love reading the comments on those things. Just getting fucking blistered on these things about this fighting like hell. Now, I've already said, in my opinion, y'all know how I feel. He's lost. He's going to lose. They know it. The people that are backing him know it. Now, you'll have a few dumbasses come out on social media that still back him, that are putting up the good fight. But he's losing. His people know that he's losing. He's everywhere right now. They're talking about this fighting like hell. All these things that have come up I've already said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. But here's where I always go. I had this same individual for 700 days lie to me. For 700 days, this individual lied to me. Okay? Because I go by, when they say the proof is in the pudding. What do I look at? What do I determine my beliefs on? It's by what you have shown me. So for 700 days, this individual intentionally lied to me and lied to you. For 700 days. He told us that we were going to get something that we were not, and that he wouldn't settle for something that he did. And so for 700 days now, he lied to us. Then the TA comes out, and we obviously voted that down. He lies about that, okay? And he went expedited, lied about that, the reasoning that they had to do that. He lied about that based off of a false story. He goes in there, he stipulates an award, lies about that, okay? Then you look at all the things that he's done besides that. We can go on and on and on about that. The pound of flesh, it's an inconvenience that y'all are getting bullied on the floor, that there's this toxic working environment. That's just an inconvenience. I say these things all the time. And now you have him and this other individual, the director of retirees. They're out telling you how they now are going to fix these things. That's a problem to me. Because what you have shown me is incompetence to this point. Now all of a sudden, when you look at these things that I just talked about, the 700 days, the lying constantly, how he was throughout this entire process with the pound of flesh, there are discrepancies on the falsification of hip. It's when you talk about the tracking us, the surveillance, the spying and using covert techniques, that's an inconvenience to me. Now here we are, coming up less than a year until nominations, and we're going to be able to fix these things. We're going to be able to fix these things. We're looking at going to national arbitration over these backlog of cases. I'm getting all these people in here so that y'all will see me. Hey, look at me, look at me. I'm everywhere right now. I'm fighting like hell for y'all. I'm bringing all these people in. I'm going to listen to them on what y'all want for as far as this next contract. I'm listening. We're fixing things. We're going to national level arbitration. Look at me, look at us right here for the next vote. Here's what all this is about. Here's what all this is about. All that I just been talking about has led me here. I'm going to take a turn for you. All right? We're going to take a turn here. Y'all probably didn't see coming. At what price, freedom? At what price, freedom? You ever heard of that saying? At what price, freedom? That means at what price did we pay to have the freedoms that we do? What price did we have to pay to be assured the freedoms that we have? At what price, freedom? When you look at those things, there's sacrifice and struggle. The financial and societal costs, personal cost, vigilance, philosophical costs. At what price, freedom? Here's where we're going to take a little turn that y'all didn't see coming. All right? Here's where we're going to take a little turn. All of this are things that we have been talking about forever, right? These are things that I've been dragging on for a year or two now. These are nothing new, these things. This clown getting up there saying it's not our fault, I'm just using that because I thought it was stupid. And all these cases, and we're fixing it and all this shit, that was filler. Because here's where we are, and this is where we should be outraged. Let's take a turn together. You want to? At what price, freedom? Because what we had happen while we were not paying attention, most of us, is that we had somebody's attempt to take away an individual's right to free speech. At what price freedom? Let's do something hypothetical, okay? Let's be hypothetical here. Are y'all okay with being hypothetical? Let's do that. All these things that I talk about, and Renfro is done for, okay? He's done for. He will not be winning. But a lot of shit's coming down on him. People are leaving his ticket. They're either going to go independent or go somewhere else. That's happening. The CLC's getting a full slate together. That's happening. A lot of pressure on him. And all these things that I've been talking about. And so there's this meeting. This is hypothetical. Okay? This is hypothetical. There's this meeting. And in this meeting, they're talking about how they're getting bludgeoned. Okay? How they're losing their ass. This is hypothetical. And in this meeting, you see a small hand. Y'all get here with me, all right? Envision this with me. You see a small hand in the back of this room of these people that are talking about what are they going to do because they're getting bludgeoned, all right? They're afraid of losing their circumstance. And in the back of the room is a little bitty hand that raises up. A little hand of a blowfly. One that will eat shit if you tell it to. And this little hand is raised of a blowfly. And then this individual says, I've got an idea. I've got an idea. What we can do. Listen up. This is what we're going to do. To deflect things off of this fucking failure of a president that we have, that we're going to back, because he still has some backers, right? I've got an idea. This is the idea that I'm going to have. This is hypothetical. I don't know this to be true. I'm going to trump up a charge on somebody over a year old. I'm going to trump up a charge on an individual possibly running for a position. And I'm going to trump this charge up on him because I need to deflect things off of this fucking failure-ass president of mine, our Lord and Savior, Brian Renfro. And so I'm going to trump up a charge, said this little man with the little hand. And this is what we're going to do. We're going to attempt to charge somebody for exercising their right to free speech. This is hypothetical, okay? I don't know that to be true. That's all hypothetical there. The same individual that raised his little hand and said that I'm going to trump up a charge is one of the individuals that you may have heard on a certain podcast talking about justifying the executive council not following the Constitution when you had Barner and Renfro calling around everybody trying to drum up support because they had charges brought against them. And so they're calling all these people saying, hey, we're going to just deny the charges. We're going to throw the charges out without following the Constitution, without getting an investigator, without going by the Constitution where it says that any charge of any form will be given an investigation. And so it was this same individual, hypothetically, that was on that recording saying, we didn't follow the Constitution because we didn't have to. We determined that the charges were not relevant, right? Remember I went through that long episode about the charge, about the Constitution. This same individual that did that was on that recording, hypothetically, saying that, filed the charges against an individual for exercising their right to free speech. And it was given an investigator by the very president who was drumming up support with Barner, talking about throwing out the charge. So now we're going to follow the Constitution when it benefits us. This is all hypothetical. Because I get on here and I show anger. I show anger on this microphone. I am a voice to the voiceless. Others show anger in a different way. In a different way. They show their anger for maybe, hypothetically, those that are supporting them. Their anger may not make sense to people, may look childish to people, but it is their right to free speech nonetheless. At what price? Freedom. I'm going to read something to you. It's free speech in your union. This is Stewart's Corner. This is Labor Notes, 2025 article. And somebody sent me this. Free speech in your union. Did you know there's a Bill of Rights for union members that protects the right to free speech in the union? It's part of a law called the Labor Management Reporting and Disclosure Act, LMRDA, which applies to any union that has members in the private sector or at the post office. Imagine that. Under the law, union members have the right to criticize their union, criticize officers, staff, and candidates, demand changes in union policies, oppose ratification of a contract, organize caucuses or other groups of members. If you think your union might be violating your democratic rights, use a test created by the Supreme Court in United Steelworkers versus Sadlowski to think through your situation. Basics of the test. Step 1. Has a member's speech been impaired? Is the topic of speech about a union issue? Some courts say that to be protected by the LMRDA, speech must be about a topic that matters to the union as a union. Courts also look at whether the union has done something serious enough to impact speech, like disciplining a member or excluding them from a meeting. I'm going to read that again. Courts also look at whether the union has done something serious enough to impact speech, like disciplining a member or excluding them from a meeting. How about charging them with a possibility of a suspension? That's hypothetical. Is that happening today? Like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm going to call out bullshit when I hear it, and I always will. I will always call out dumbass shit said or whatever. I'm always going to do that. But what we can never do, ever, is try to snuff out an individual's right to exercise their free speech under the First Amendment. And that's exactly what's happening, hypothetically. We cannot, at any time ever, support that. I don't care who it is, if you like this individual or not, if it's Renfro, if it's Barner, if it's whoever, we can never, ever support an attempt to snuff out an individual exercising their right to free speech. Ever. And that is where we are, hypothetically. A charge has been made, over a year old, for something that happened a year ago, hypothetically, over somebody exercising their right to free speech. I show anger here, like I am today. I show anger here. Others show anger in a different way, whether you agree with it or not. Whether you agree with it or not. I'm going to go on. Step 2, can the union point to a rule? The next step is to ask whether the union can point to a rule limiting your speech. Whether there's a pre-existing rule is an important question for 2 reasons. First, the LMRDA protects the right of unions to adopt and enforce reasonable rules to protect the union. It does not mention any right of unions to limit speech and on ad hoc basis. Second, requiring an existing rule protects free speech because it limits the ability of officials to arbitrarily pick and choose which speech they want to limit. If union officials are threatening to discipline your speech, push them to name what rule they are relying on and write down how they answer it. If they can't name a rule, their position is much weaker. The LMRDA says that if a rule violates free speech, then the rule is void. So if you think your union has an illegal rule, you may consider fighting it even if no one has been disciplined. And it goes on, but that's all you need to hear about that. I've been chewing on that for a while. Because, like I said, I'm going to call out stupidity and ignorance on here. Whether I lose listeners or whatever, I don't care. That's just how I am. What people say about me, don't give a fuck, really, what people think about me. I've done my fucking time. I've done shit for the city letter carrier in my time. But what we cannot have at any time ever, is a union, the agent, the establishment, the good old boys, the status quo, concocting a charge, trying to limit somebody's right to free speech with a possibility of suspending that individual to keep them from running for a position. That's hypothetical. I do not know that. I'm not saying that because I know that. I do not know that. Potentially, could that happen? Because here's what you've got now. You have got, hypothetically, a charge trumped up by an individual who is on record telling you they're not going to follow the Constitution. Maybe brought on, this is hypothetical, I don't know, maybe brought on by an individual who's running this union with an attempt to blackball this individual from running in some way, because you know that you've got an executive council that's compromised. You know that. We've talked about that over and over again on here. We have an executive council that's compromised. You probably have a president that thinks he's got the votes to go after this individual. Why would you wait a year to bring a charge on someone? If it was that fucking important to bring a charge a fucking year ago. When whatever happened, happened. If it's that fucking important. But you're going to wait now, November, October, and bring a baseless charge trying to restrict somebody's right to free speech. Everybody, friend or foe, should be outraged over that. At no time ever. Listen to me. I'm as serious as I can be. At no time ever can we support an establishment attempting to take away, restrict, snuff out, discipline somebody for exercising their right to free speech. At what price? Freedom. That's how fucking important it is. All of that stuff I was talking about initially about the complete fucking failure of this president and these lackeys that continue to get up in front of people and spew this dumbass shit, knowing that these motherfuckers have gotten beat, knowing that they're on their way out the fucking door. Change is coming. It's inevitable. It's happening. They know it. We know it. On the workroom floor, they know it. So what do? They go after one of the individuals that's running against them. Hypothetically, of course. That's a scary thing. I'm telling you, because it could be you. It could be you running for vice president of your local union, running for president of your local union, running for state president. It could be you. If the establishment determines that's what they want to do. If the establishment feels that you're a threat to the system, if the establishment chooses what charges they're going to bring forward and what charges they're going to dismiss, if the establishment chooses when they're going to follow the Constitution and when they're not, if the establishment is going to decide who's going to get charged and who isn't, if the establishment is going to say, we have ultimate authority over what the Constitution says and how we're going to interpret the Constitution, if the establishment has that power, we are fucked. Hypothetically, of course. Be careful. Be careful. I'm going to go after motherfuckers that say stupid shit. I'm going to do that. Like it, don't care. I've always done that. That's who I've always been. If you say dumb shit, I'm going after you until you correct your dumb shit. What you can't do is go after somebody for exercising their right to free speech. Right? We cannot. We should be outraged. Outraged, hypothetically. Hypothetically. To the individual who filed the charge, you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit for getting duped into that. You should have been a bigger man than that. You should have been bigger than that. And said, I'm not doing that a year later because hypothetically, you want me to do that. To the president, you should have known better. You should have said, I'm not putting an investigator over that. Like I didn't on mine. Like when we had Mr. Henry who said, hey, I've got an investigator. No, don't worry about it, Mr. Henry. Don't worry about the investigator. We're going to say that the charge isn't substantial ourselves. But hang on, that's not what the Constitution says. I know it, but we've got the votes. We've got the votes. I had to rant today, right? My wife's gone, man. I'm just bitter, salty. My Vols lost, damn it. And played so good, just fucking lost. God, just made me mad. Mad and salty and lonely. So, out of my route today, I was like, man, I could do that education tonight. Or I could just be a salty motherfucker. And so I decided salty was better tonight, right? Let's just be a salty motherfucker tonight. Because we're in a terrible conundrum right there. We're in a bad spot as a union right now. Okay, you've got a lame duck president who's going to lose. His people know it. We know it. Y'all know it. He's losing. He's everywhere right now trying to drum up support. Look at me. Hey, I'm doing this. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. And in the shadows, a cockroach stood up and filed a charge, a blowfly, trying to suppress an individual exercising their right to free speech. Someone running for a position, hypothetically. And we're in dangerous waters with that. Okay? Well, how was that? How was that? That's an hour for you of me just being a salty motherfucker because I can. I will be the voice to the voiceless, those on the workroom floor who are getting run over. I told you we've been abandoned by the Postal Service. We've been abandoned by our union. It's the most corrupt, to me, the most corrupt union and individuals in a union I've ever seen. I have never seen anything as corrupt as the individuals we have running this union now. You have some good ones. You have corruption. This charge is corruption. It's based on corruption to me, hypothetically. But the carriers, at the end of the day, are the one who suffer for this. Because you have an establishment run by a narcissist. You've got these blowflies down here that will eat shit if he tells them to. And And we're in trouble. We're in trouble. That's the reason. Look, James Henry's going to win. I know it. They know it. Everybody knows it. James Henry's going to win. It's just by how much is he going to win. He's going to win. He'll have more votes than all the others combined. That's a foregone conclusion. We need integrity more than anything right now. Everybody's smart at that level. Everybody's going to be smart. The reason I love James Henry is because he's structured. That comes off of his military. He's structured. He's got integrity more than anyone else. And we need integrity more than ever. And this is why. This is what I'm talking about. It's shit like this that we have to do away with. This good old boy. That is the ultimate in good old boy, is this shit here. So, at what price freedom? That's a question we need to ask ourselves. At what price freedom? Everything that has ever been done in the history of this country to ensure our freedoms, especially the freedom of free speech, the right we have of free speech, it is under attack as we speak. As we speak. All right? I love you. I love you, City Letter Carrier. I love you, Light Blue. Right? I've been chewing on that a while. I apologize if I got out there a little bit, but we're in dangerous waters, man. Real fucking dangerous waters with this one. Hey, hypothetically, like the individual, don't like the individual, don't care. I don't give a fuck who's it. Like I said, I can't stand Renfro. I love the guy. I can't wait for him to lose his ass and be gone, but I'd be doing it for him too. Okay? I'd be doing it for Barner. I think he's conceded more than any individual in the history of this union. I'd be doing it for him too. If anybody tried to suppress them exercising their right to free speech, no matter how ignorant it is, they have that right. And I would do everything humanly possible to protect them. And if anybody ever called me and said, hey, I want you to be one of the ones that defend me in this charge, I don't give a fuck who it is. I will be there. I will be there and I will defend you with everything I've got. That's how important this is. That's how important this is. When the charge came out, it was an immediate travesty to who we are as a union and what we stand for. When the charge came out, it was a travesty to attack an individual for exercising their right to free speech. All right, I could keep going. I'm going to stop. I love you, Light Blue. I love you with all my heart, okay? Hey, good days are coming, I promise you. We're going to turn this shit around. You're going to be proud of your union again. We're going to fight for you, which they're not doing right now. You see on social media these dumbass clowns coming out there. What are they going to get that this one ain't going to get? It's going to be the same shit. We're going to fight. There's the difference. We're going to fight. You will not see us conceding anything. If we tell you we're going to fight for something, that's exactly what's going to happen. And people say, well, they don't tell us what they're going to get us. Only a fool would tell you what they're going to get you because they cannot. You just had that. Did you not learn your lesson? Only a fool will tell you what they're going to get you. And you see it all the time from the same dumb fucks. The CLC refuses to tell us what they're going to get us or how they're going to get it. Nobody's going to tell you what they're going to get you that has a fucking common sense bone in their body. Any advocate will tell you that. That's arbitration 101. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to get you because I have no idea. All I can tell you, and this is what James continues to say, is I'm going to fight with everything that I've got to get you what we think you deserve. That's all we can promise. We cannot tell you what we're going to get you. A fool will do that. That's what you got now. So if you want somebody to tell you what they're going to get you, vote for Renfro. Vote for him. He will do that. He did it. I'll settle for nothing less than this. This is going to be a non-starter. And didn't get any of it. So, no, the CLC will never tell you what we're going to get you. We cannot tell you what we're going to get you. It's impossible. We can tell you what we're going to fight for. We can tell you what we're going to fight for, but does that mean we're going to get it? No, because it's arbitration. That's how it fucking works. But what we can promise you is this. We will fight our asses off to get you what you deserve. That's a promise. You will not see any concessions. That's a promise. And if that bothers you, don't vote for us. If you want me to tell you a figure I'm going to get you, I can't do that. You know? I mean, I'd look at the... I should have ended this 20 minutes ago, but here we go. Let's keep on going. I look at APW getting $45 an hour. If I heard that correctly, $45 an hour, APW. 100% COLA, APW. What in the fuck happened to us? What happened to us? I can write a list of 100 things that we do more than them. And I have a lot of them that listen. Don't take this disrespectfully, but we do more than y'all. We do. We were out there in the street doing more than y'all. Every day. Every day. We do more. We deserve more. National arbitrators have said, we deserve more. Do you know who doesn't agree with that? By their actions? Your president. By his actions, he cannot say that's bullshit. I saw the TA, motherfucker, and I see what we get. I saw us vote the TA down, motherfucker, and I saw you push it through anyway, through an expedited, stipulated award. And this motherfucker tells us that the post office is broken, all this shit here, and yet the APW makes more than we do. There's 100% COLA. Not too fucking broke for them. I guess they're broke for us, but not broke for them. $45 an hour. Not too fucking broke for them. And now that's coming from a motherfucker who's got a bodyguard. Did y'all know Renfro walks around with a bodyguard? God. A bodyguard that we pay for with our dues. Now, what's this motherfucker need a bodyguard for? Hell, somebody wants to scrap. Let's fucking go. I don't get that. If you want to scrap, motherfucker, step up and let's go. And we'll shake hands and be done with it. Hiring a bodyguard for a motherfucker who's constantly talking about fighting like hell? Fight like hell. Somebody said they're going to whip my ass. I need a bodyguard. God bless. On our dues. Shit. Motherfucker, somebody comes up to me and says, brother, we got to settle some shit out back. Let's go settle it. And be done with it. Hell, I'm old, but damn it, we'll go get it. We'll mess some fucking hair up. But a bodyguard? I'm getting off on some crazy shit now, ain't I? But anyway, I could go on for 3 hours with this shit, you know, but I just want to talk about that with the free speech. That's dangerous. It's dangerous. All right, I do love you. This is it. I love you very much. Very much, Light Blue, and I can't wait to get in there and fight for you. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Paul and I get together with these dogs of war and send them out across the country and start alleviating some shit, addressing the toxic working environment, getting these backlog of cases down without fucking over the carriers. I cannot wait to get in there. I cannot wait. And you're going to see a change in the culture on the workroom floor. That's coming, okay? And you're going to see a change in the grievances. That's coming. Those are easy fixes, but we've got imbeciles. We've got imbeciles running this union right now, and we are reaping the whirlwind because of it, right? Y'all have a safe day tomorrow. I love you, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow night. We're going to go over some grievances, okay? The ranting's over. For a while. I'm done with it. At what price freedom? Think about it. Okay? At what price freedom? Think about that. I'll talk to y'all later. I love you. Bye.